Hello there, it's Wendy Marshall here again. This is part 2 of the Value Yourself seminar. So for those of you that tuned in last week, it's really great you're back again, and hopefully we've got some new people. So don't worry if you didn't catch last week, because you can catch up on YouTube, on the Brahma Kumara's YouTube channel, or you can look at the meditations on the Meditation Lounge app. So this week we're going to look at 4 new meditations, and a little bit different, a little bit of a change from last week. But what we're going to do that's going to be pretty similar to last week is we're exploring again this whole thing of rising above the incessant chatter of our ordinary mind and finding that peace of the higher self. And we're going to do this at the start of each meditation so that you can really get the hang of this. We did it last week, I think 4 times. And we're going to do this basic meditation, we call it soul conscious meditation. We're going to do that 4 times again. So hopefully you'll really get in the groove of how you can kindly observe your mind and then rise above the chatter of your mind. And we explored last week the whole thing of valuing ourselves, maybe in a slightly different way. And that is that in order to really value ourselves, we've got to value what's happening up here in our mind. And to do that, we've got to start to change the thought patterns in our mind so that we can actually really enjoy the feeling of being in our mind. And when we enjoy the feeling of being in our mind, other people feel comfortable being around us too. So it's kind of got a 2-way effect. Now, the 4 meditations that we're going to look at this time, the first 2 kind of go well together. They're almost 2 sides of the same coin. So the first one is about using our mistakes to move forward. And we talked quite a bit about this last time, but there's a little bit of a new dimension to it, because this is for those moments, and maybe some of you have never had a moment like this, but for me, I've spent years making a mistake, feeling awful about it, and lying in bed at night, just ruminating on it and not getting to sleep. So if any of you can identify with that, then this meditation is for you. It's a great skill to have. So it enables us to look at that mistake differently and use it to become a better person. And then the other one is when we actually dread a situation coming up because we know we don't deal with that particularly well. Maybe we've responded badly in the past, or maybe it's somebody we're going to meet that kind of sparks something off in the wrong way, and we dread that situation. It could be an interview or a meeting with someone, anything like that. So in this case, we're kind of going to learn how to dial down those feelings and how to switch off that anxiety response and approach that situation in a really different way so we don't dread it happening in the future. Then we're going to do a meditation, which is a very pleasant experience because it's kind of a day in our higher self. So how a beautiful day might go if we were literally just staying in that high state of consciousness all day. So that's a really lovely meditation. And then we're going to finish with something I consider to be maybe the greatest of our superpowers as a human being, and that's the power of good wishes. And we're particularly going to put this to use when there's a bit of turbulence circulating between me and someone else. And we want to learn how to put that right. Could have been something that I did, could have been something they did, but somehow I've built up a little bit of turbulence, negativity in my heart towards that person. And for my own well-being, as well as that person, I want to get rid of that. I want to free myself from it. So that's going to be the final meditation. So we're going to try and fit those 4 meditations in, without cantering through them. So let's see how we go. Um, the first meditation, it's called the Rerun, and it's on the Meditation Lounge app under Value Yourself. It's actually day 6. And it's an interesting perspective, really, because, as I said, it's very easy to get stuck in feelings and feeling awful about a situation that's happened. And actually, if we keep getting stuck and we can't break out of it, that's when we start to feel depressed. But we can actually use those situations to create a better version of ourselves. And we know that if we exercise our body, we go to the gym, we bulk up, And we also know that if you start to use mistakes instead of that you want to go through, you feel that you can rise to challenges and it's not going to faze you. So we're going to look at that whole aspect, and to do that, we're going to learn 2 basic skills. We introduced them a little bit last week, but we're going to go over a little bit new angle, and that is to talk kindly to ourselves. Really important skill. And also how to rerun something and do something differently, operating from our higher self. So let's have a go. And as I said, each meditation, we're going to practice this basic higher self approach, which is a 2-step approach. It involves this basic technique of mindfulness where you're the kind observer of your thoughts. You're watching your mind, and then we're going to allow our mind to rumble on and just rise above it. So let's have a go. For those of you that joined last week, you might have had a go at this during the week. Certainly we did it a few times last week, so you might find this a little bit easy. But for those of you joining for the first time, let's have a go and let's ease ourselves into this. So the first step is just to gaze into our mind. We're just going to watch our thoughts. Mind can be a little bit like a pond, and when we first look into it, we don't think we can see very much. It's the same when you look onto the surface of a pond. Maybe you just see the clouds reflected. But you keep looking, you start to see movement below, and you can see if there's any fish or creatures below the surface. And it's like that we first gaze into our mind. First, we don't think we're seeing very much, and then if we just allow ourselves to watch patiently, we start to discern not just the thoughts we're having right now, but the emotional trail that thoughts leave behind. So we're kind of looking to see what's in our mind now, but we're also looking for any emotional charge that's been left behind today or the last few days. If we felt strongly or reacted to something, that charge might still be lingering in our mind. And as we watch as the kind observer. We're not trying to catch ourselves out. We're not being critical here. We're going to watch kindly, but with a lot of curiosity. We're just really interested. So let's have a look, see what's inside our mind. You find your mind's drifting away a little bit, don't worry. Just bring it back. Watch with curiosity. And as we get used to this watching, this curious, kind watching of our mind, we see what's in our mind much more easily, and it gives us an insight into how we feel, what we feel during the day. And those feelings are created by thought patterns. And the number of thoughts that we generate in an average day can be between 40,000 on a good day, could be 60, 70, 80,000 if they're really whizzing about. And all those thoughts, I want you to see them just like a low cloud or a fog filling your mind during the day. Halfway through the day, you might have had 30, 40,000 of them. Just see them as a mist, a fog, cloud filling your mind. You just leave them where they are, pay them no attention, and rise above all those thoughts. Just rise above, leave them down there, rise above. As if you're rising above into a clear blue sky or lovely sunshine on an early spring morning. Just rise above all your thoughts, because above all your thoughts is a place of peace. It's always there. And when we rise above the chatter of our thoughts, we come to rest in the peace of the higher self. So let's look at the theme for this particular meditation, the rerun. So we're going to practice speaking kindly to ourselves when we get something wrong, we think we've failed, and then rerunning that challenge in our mind to deal with it better. So for that, we need to recall something, just call to mind a mistake, something that diminished your self-esteem, could have sent it crashing or could have just diminished it a little bit. Just call a situation to mind like that. So we're going to allow that higher self, that peaceful self, to speak to us with a lot of love and kindness. I'm going to do that in the next few moments of silence. So I'd like you to tell yourself that you really understand why you didn't deal with that situation well, how it was hard for you. You understand. It's something that really you find you can struggle with. I want you to really speak to yourself like that with a lot of kindness. I understand. I know why that was difficult. I know why you responded like that. Speak to yourself like that for a few moments. So even though that situation was beyond my capacity at that moment, it's really useful information for us because we want to be a better version of ourselves. Always, we want to be a better version of ourselves. And we need to be reassuring to our mind like this, very kind to our mind. So I want you to have another go in the next few moments of silence to tell yourself you understand why you had that reaction. But this time, when you've said that, I want you to really accept that kindness that you're giving yourself. Really relax into it and absorb it. So this time, it's not just a matter of speaking to your mind. This time, you speak to your mind kindly, pause, and then accept it. Really accept it. Okay, let's have a go at that. Tell yourself why you understand why you made a mess of that situation. Then accept that kindness. Really relax into it. You might even want to thank yourself for speaking kindly to yourself like that. You accept it that deeply. Now we're going to spend a few moments imagining dealing differently with this situation, doing something really different, a different approach. So we're going to rerun this situation, bring that challenge to mind, situation that you didn't deal with so well last time. And we're going to rerun it. So I'd like you to imagine that scene that you didn't do so well in a very real way, as though you're really looking through your eyes. You're not watching it on a TV or a video. You're looking around in that scene. You're actually in it. And if you don't have a visual imagination like this, then do it on a feeling-based level. You just feel yourself to be in it, but as real as you possibly can. That's important. I want you to imagine being back in that scene, but this time you feel very calm and unhurried. It's not speeding up and going fast. Reactions aren't firing out. And unhurried. And at any moment, you can pause that scene. You're fully in control of this rerun. You can pause it if you need to just think how to handle it better. So you're in control. And really feel that you're there in that moment. You're unhurried, you're calm, and you're speaking and behaving with a lot of kindness towards the other people in that scene. No matter how they're treating you, you are reacting with a lot of kindness towards others. How is that making you feel when you're responding in that calm, unhurried way and you're pulling something out that's very kind and understanding towards that other person. How's that making you feel? And watch how that scene unfolds and takes its course, and it moves gently, slowly on. You've reacted and are reacting with calm and kindness. So how is that scene now unfolding when you're giving that added dimension? And how are others responding to you now? And how is it affecting the whole of the atmosphere in that scene? I want you to linger in the moment as that situation you've just imagined turns out really well, because your reaction is really different. You need to feel the satisfaction of that moment. Allow yourself to feel that respect for yourself for using this new approach, this approach that really comes from your higher self. Feel that satisfaction. Now, if you can imagine this, it is part of who you are. It's within your potential. You might not have done things this way before, but it is part of who you are. I want you to speak to yourself in a very reassuring way. Tell yourself that you can deal with things much better next time. You can deal with this situation in ways that make you feel an enormous amount of respect for yourself. Not arrogance, just respect for yourself, for being calm and unhurried and kind, and helping that situation move in a really good way. Tell yourself, this is within your potential and you can do this. And it will help you respect yourself on a completely different level. But we're not going to put pressure on ourselves to be perfect, to do everything perfectly every single time. Life is live. Things happen and we're going to get things wrong. But if we have this technique, when we're lying in bed and we're sitting on our sofa or we're outside on the balcony or the backyard drinking our tea and thinking, oh no, I did that again. Instead of feeling awful and your self-esteem just crashing down, you decide to speak to yourself kindly with understanding. You accept that understanding. And then you just rerun the scene, go through it again, see yourself being unhurried and calm. See yourself responding with a huge amount of love and kindness to the people in that scene. And this is a completely different transformative feeling for us, and it enables us to feel optimistic about ourselves. So that's kind of one part of dealing with tricky feelings and responses that we don't feel well about. And if you practice this a few times, you'll kind of have it there in the bag. So if you find yourself lying awake one night and you're just ruminating on something that went wrong, you know you can pull this out, or you can go to Meditation Lounge and play this meditation, and it will help. It will just help you see yourself in a completely different light and know that you can do something better next time. But what about when we have got something coming up, not something we've done already that we feel bad about, but we've got a situation coming up that we feel really anxious about. And maybe, our mind, as the days get closer and the hours get closer, our mind is just sort of worrying about it and anxiety levels are going through the roof. And then when we enter that situation, because we've worried about it so much, basically the best of us doesn't come out. Maybe we feel kind of, stuck in the headlights of a car. We feel startled and stiff. And how do we deal with that kind of thing? How do we dial down that dread for situations that are coming up? So we're going to look at things from a slightly different angle, similar technique, but a slightly different angle, so that you can dial down your anxiety whenever you feel something coming up that you're worried about. Okay, so once again, we're going to go back to this technique of looking inside our mind and then rising above. We'll just go through this one more time. So let's gaze back inside our mind. This time be a little bit easier, and we might see that just looking kindly inside our mind starts to slow everything down. And we get more and more curious about what's happening in there. And with that curiosity comes more understanding. And then we think of our mind, which gets filled with all those thoughts during the day. Think of it like mist, a mist of thoughts, and we just rise above all those thoughts of the ordinary mind, as if passing through a cloud into sunshine. Just leave all those chattering thoughts down there, rise above, so that we can just be in that peace of the higher self. So now we're going to look at a situation that we might get anxious about, something that's coming up that we think, oh, I just really don't handle that well, or whenever I have to see that person, I freeze up or I get irritated and I just dread it. I just dread it. So we're going to look at a situation like that. See if you can call a situation like that to mind. Okay. Now, while thinking of that particular situation, just notice the feelings that are coming up and acknowledge them. Just notice them. Observe them with kindness and notice where in the body you feel them. Might be a particular place that you feel that particular feeling. Just notice that when you start dreading that situation or situations like it, you usually feel it in the body in a particular place. It gives a particular tense feeling. Just be aware of that. And then see if you can be at peace with that. I'm at peace with that feeling. I can see it, I can feel it, but I'm at peace with it. Now let's see if we can create a different response. So we've got that situation that we feel anxious or awkward about. And again, we're going to get the higher self to speak to us. And in a very kind way, I'd like you to say to your mind a couple of times, you don't need to impress anyone. Being yourself is enough. So we're thinking about a particular situation that maybe we feel awkward or anxious about. And we tell our mind, don't need to impress anyone. Being yourself is enough. I say it one more time. And again, I want you to deeply accept it and relax into it. I don't need to impress anyone. Being myself is enough. Now imagine walking into this scene. If your memory works with images, I want you to feel you're actually in there, you're looking around, seeing what's happening, you feel you're actually in the scene. If your memory and your mind doesn't work with images, don't force it. Work on feelings. Just what do you feel when you're normally walking into that kind of scene that makes you feel awkward or anxious? So now I want you to imagine entering that scene and feeling at peace. You don't feel you need to impress anyone or prove anything to anyone. Being yourself is enough. Imagine walking in with that feeling. You're inside your inner world of peace. You're comfortable being yourself. Imagine this as deeply as you can. You've got a new feeling walking into that scene. Try and get right inside that feeling. You're at peace. You don't need to impress anyone. You can be comfortable being yourself. And you're feeling this as you enter that scene. Normally you might feel anxious or awkward. This time, you don't need to impress anyone. You can speak to your mind and you're feeling it's okay. It's okay to be me. It's enough. Now I want you to open out your awareness towards other people in this scene. You probably know who you're likely to encounter in this scene. Open up your awareness to them. How might they be feeling? They too might feel anxious or self-conscious. They might be worried about how others are perceiving them or concerned about doing well in that situation. And that might make them tense up and feel uncomfortable. Focus your awareness on maybe one or two people, key players in that scene. See if you can really feel that they too might feel tense or anxious or tensed up. It doesn't matter if things haven't gone well with this person or people like that in the past. Right now, I want you to start to really care about their well-being, feel for them. You've switched away from how you feel walking into that scene. Your awareness now is on them and how they feel. And in this moment, wish for them to feel really relaxed and comfortable and at ease. I really wish that for them. I want them to feel well, relaxed and comfortable. I want them to feel cared for and valued for themselves. I really wish that. You want them to feel valued and to feel cared for. And I really wish them to feel happy. Just to feel happy and content in that moment. That all their cares are lifted for a moment and they can feel happy. Really, really wish that for one or two or everyone in that scene. Now see yourself interacting really, really kindly with the people in that scene in a way that makes them feel safe and totally at ease. See yourself listening to others with a really open heart. You might not agree with them, but you can choose to be at peace with them. Maybe their views and opinions don't gel with you, but you can listen with respect. So you open your heart up in that moment and you're just listening and you're at peace with them. Now, if you start to notice a concern about how others see you, you switch your focus back to caring about the well-being of others in that scene and really wishing them well. Now you're leaving that scene, the scene's coming to a close, and you walk away with a really comfortable feeling. You feel comfortable inside because you didn't feel that you needed to prove anything. It wasn't about you, it wasn't about how you appeared. It wasn't about you being liked by others. You were just trying to help others to feel at ease with themselves, to be valued, to be listened to. That was your focus. And you walk away feeling really comfortable within yourself because of that. Just really try and get inside that feeling. You walk away from the scene and you've really given something beautiful of yourself. Doesn't matter if anybody else noticed it or not, doesn't matter. You know you gave that. And that's a really beautiful feeling. So this is a meditation that you can practice whenever you feel dread about a situation coming up that you think you might not deal well with, or maybe you haven't dealt well with in the past. You think you're probably going to do it badly this time, or you might be just a little bit awkward about it or apprehensive. The trick is to learn how to go into a scene and feeling that you don't have to prove anything at all. You just need to be yourself. That's fine. And then your care and concern is for enabling others to feel at ease and to feel comfortable and to feel valued for themselves. And that's your focus. And the interesting thing is that traditional wisdom tells us that this can turn off our fear and anxiety response, because we can either feel fear and anxiety or we feel love. And up-to-date research tells us that this compassion and love response actually literally does turn off the fear response. So when we switch our attention away from how others perceive us, that's when we're concerned about how others perceive us, that's when we feel anxious and awkward and kind of stiff and self-conscious. But when we refocus on making others feel comfortable in that scene, all of that awkwardness, anxiety gets switched off. We start to feel open-hearted and loving, and literally the feel-good chemicals like oxytocin start flowing in our heart. And all that anxiety goes right down. And not only does the anxiety go down when we feel compassion like this, but we get smarter, we get more perceptive, and we get more creative. We're able to figure out solutions in the here and now. So this is a really powerful technique. Again, you can practice this a few times so you get the hang of it. So whenever you're getting wound up or anxious, or you feel awkward about something coming up you think you might not deal well with, you can practice this meditation. And then not only will it stop you from worrying about that situation, but when you actually start to go into a situation like that in real life, you've got a different set of thought patterns and a different set of feelings that you can start to use, so that that situation goes much better, because you don't feel awkward or anxious anymore. You don't feel stiff and reactive. You feel more open, you feel more respectful, and your higher intelligence starts flowing more beautifully. So those two meditations, some similarities in them, but the first one was about when we've done something in the past and we feel awful about it, send our self-esteem crashing, and we want to restore our good feelings for ourselves and speak kindly to ourselves when we're lying in bed or ruminating about it. That was the first one we did. This one about the situation that's coming up. So we really change how we are in that situation next time. We're really laying down a new way of being. And again, you'll find these both on Meditation Lounge under the Value Yourself meditation. So I'm hoping that you'll download the app and practice these again this week, so you can really get in the swing of how to use them in the here and now, but also to change situations in the future. Okay, so this is the third meditation we're going to look at this afternoon. And this is a fun one, a bit, I think. It's called A Day with Your Higher Self. And we're kind of going to go through an imaginary day where we stay in these lovely feelings of being at peace with everyone and everything. And we move through that day and we just see what happens, so that we can start to see that days like this really can be part of our ordinary life. So let's see if we can get back to that naturally wise and kind self that's full of understanding and compassion and really does deal with things in a different way. because I'm operating from different thought patterns and I'm operating with different feelings inside. So again, perhaps more briefly, we'll go through those 2 steps of just looking inside our mind as the kind observer. And each time we do this, we start to feel that presence of kindness. I'm not just the observer of my mind. I can have a presence of real kindness, kind curiosity, not a cold curiosity, a kind curiosity of just being really interested in what's in my mind so that I can start to change a few things around. And when we learn to be this kind observer of our thoughts, we get less affected by the emotions that those thoughts whip up. We get less caught up in them. We get more detached from them. And doesn't make us cold and uncaring. It gives a lot more warmth to our heart, but we don't get caught up with the emotions that swish around in our mind. But there have been probably a lot of emotions swishing around in our mind just today, as those tens of thousands of thoughts just whiz in and whiz out and leave a trail behind. And we see them like that fog filling our mind with thoughts and feelings all day long. It can be very tiring. And we rise above that fog of our thoughts. Just rise right above into the peace of the higher self. And we start to feel that separation from our thoughts. We know that we're just coming to rest in our higher self. It's a soft feeling, an expansive feeling, a mellow feeling. I get more and more used to that feeling of the higher self. We want it more and more. We don't want to be stuck in our mind with thoughts just tossing us around all over the place. We want to be in this lovely feeling. We know this is the real me. It feels more familiar. And we're starting to realize that there are so many lovely things inside of us that haven't been expressed yet. We have a huge amount of lovely conversations, great ideas, kind ways of being that want to be expressed. They want to be expressed in so many new and beautiful ways. And each time we express these beautiful things we find in the higher self, the more we feel true to ourselves and the more we like ourselves and value ourselves. So let's imagine a day where the higher self is being expressed more fully than maybe it ever has been before. And let's see what a day like that would really be like. So let's imagine waking up, just starting to come around. And maybe the rain's tapping on our window. Maybe it's grey day. Or maybe it's vibrant sunshine. Maybe it's cold, maybe it's warm. But whatever nature shows us outside our window, we just feel grateful for it. And thank you. We're interested in what nature brings to us today. And we have deep gratitude for it. So just allow yourself to feel that appreciation and gratitude for whatever the weather and nature is going to bring today. And we get out of bed and we go about our morning routine. But we feel optimistic that today I'm going to share so many lovely things and spread kindness in everything that I do. Because that's within my gift, that's within my power. I don't know what's going to happen, but I can know that that's what I want to do with today. I'm going to share as many lovely things as I can and spread kindness in everything that I do. And as I move around the day, one scene after another, I decide I'm going to appreciate everyone I see. Everyone. I'm going to appreciate them for something. Just any little thing, but I'm going to appreciate everyone for something. Smile at strangers. Maybe speak to someone that I haven't spoken to before. Even when I go out for my daily walk, I can smile, say hi from a distance. If I send emails or chats, I just add that little bit of kindness and care and concern, some loveliness I add to that communication. And if I speak to anyone, I listen more deeply, especially to the people that I know. I just listen as deeply as I possibly can, seeing them with more appreciation for who they actually are. Imagine doing all of those things, saying hi or smiling to strangers on the street. All my communications, whether it's texts or emails, I do it with kindness, not just in words, but really from my heart with kindness. And then I just respond with more warmth and openness and listen more deeply to anyone that I interact with during that day. And then sense the warm feeling that that gives those people. Imagine that feeling that they have in the next few moments of silence. And because you're in a much more peaceful state and you're much more appreciative of others, your creativity works better. You have more enthusiasm for everything that you do. And as the day unfolds, you're seeing solutions to problems that maybe you haven't been able to solve before. And you think of new ideas. and you share them generously with others. Imagine your creativity just gently flowing in a beautiful way. Your mind is calm and clear, and you see to the heart of a problem, and then a solution just pops into your mind. And if you think it might be useful to someone, you share it. If you think they don't want to hear it, you'll find just holding that within your mind and enjoying it. And all of this comes from an inner feeling of kindness because you're connecting with your higher self. You're staying in that state of being at peace with everyone and everything. And these lovely, warm inner feelings, you're just sharing them with others naturally. You feel them, so others feel them around you. Feels like you're just spreading good feelings without having to do very much at all. Really, really lovely feeling. And nothing really extraordinary happens during the day. You don't win the lottery. You don't get praised for anything you do or any of the work that you've done. But as the day comes to a close, your heart feels full and content because you were giving something really different during that day. You were in touch with your higher self. You felt at peace with everyone and everything. And that gave you a sunny feeling inside. It's like an inner sunshine that you're in touch with and never needs to go away. And you feel that you shared the best of yourself with others today. And you didn't need any praise, you didn't need any recognition. It just felt enough to share the best of yourself silently. Sometimes through words, but oftentimes just through a feeling silently. Little pulses of appreciation, kindness, and love. You might have made a mistake or two, but you didn't mind and you carried on without getting upset. And that felt good too. Each interaction with other people felt so satisfying. And you could feel that it was like that for the other person too. So in a way, it was an ordinary day from the outside. No one would have thought that anything really special had happened. But for you, it was a really, really beautiful day from the inside. And you close the day, maybe have a cup of tea or a cool drink, and you kind of savor those beautiful feelings. And you know that every single day rolling forward, you can meditate, you can keep in touch with that higher self, you can be at peace with everything and everyone, and how beautifully things will flow because of it. A few little mistakes, well, you bring them to mind and you see them as nuggets you can learn from. You're still in that state of peacefulness. And this kind and compassionate part of you wants to be expressed so much more than it has been already in your life. And it has no limits. You'll never get to the end of it. None of us ever will. The more we use it, it gets stronger and stronger and richer. and more beautiful. So every time in our meditation, we project ahead to that day and decide that we're going to keep touching base with the higher self as much as possible, coming back to it in little moments of silence. And we decide we're going to give beautiful, kind feelings of appreciation and open-heartedness and respect to everyone we interact with or think of. Our day can be that beautiful. So that was a day with our higher self. And again, you can find that on the Meditation Lounge app, and you can enjoy that as a meditation first thing in the morning or on a tea break during the day. And each time you live out that way of being, we start to feel authentically more and more ourselves and less self-conscious and worried about how other people perceive us, because we're starting to live from the inside and give what's really inside to others and know that that's who I really am. Okay, so that was number 3. And now this meditation is the last meditation we're going to practice, and the Meditation Lounge is number 9 in the series, and it's really the power of good wishes. And we've explored this in different ways during the meditations we've practiced, because it's really one of the greatest superpowers we human beings have, the ability to have good wishes for others and put things right on a silent inner level. Because for all of us, it's common that something happens, someone says something to us, we get upset, we say something to them, and we can see someone flinch with a little discomfort or pain, and we've created a kind of vortex of turbulence flowing between me and that person. So however it started, whether it came from them and it hurt me and then I responded, or whether it came from me and I touched on them and they responded, we want to be able to free ourselves from all of those feelings. So in order to do this, we need to be prepared to go beyond who was right and who was wrong. That's not what this is about. This is about just putting right my feelings and then seeing what happens when I do that. So again, I'm going to start off with that really simple higher self meditation. You really should be getting the hang of it now. It's like doing reps in a gym where you always do an exercise that's building up your core strength. You always come back to that and you can feel yourself getting stronger. It's the same with this basic meditation of being the kind observer and then going beyond the chattering mind into the peace of the higher self. Every time we practice this, and for people who practice Raj Yoga meditation, we do this several times a day so that we get stronger and stronger and more able to do this at will. So one more time, we gaze into our mind. And that feeling of kindness should be building and getting stronger. That kind presence is looking inside my mind. I'm the kind observer, the kind and curious observer of my endlessly fascinating mind. I should get a little bit better at discerning those emotional trails that get left behind and those charged thought patterns. I see them Now let them be. Don't get tangled up in them and start re-experiencing them. No, I just look, notice, watch. And then rise above, back up into that lovely peaceful feeling of being at peace with everyone and everything. I've left my chattering thoughts, that cloud of thoughts right down there. And I go up above into this sunny feeling, this warm feeling of the higher self, the soul. Now really be at peace with everyone and everything. So the theme of this meditation is a common theme this afternoon of putting things right, of freeing myself. And we're going to explore this in a very powerful way. So I want you to call to mind a misunderstanding or an upset that might have happened between you and another person. A little bit of turbulence you can feel between you. It doesn't have to be a big ding dong, just a little bit of misunderstanding. You didn't get each other. There's a little bit of spikiness there, maybe. Just call that to mind. I'm not going to get into it, but just call that situation to mind. And let's see if we can detach from the emotions of that relationship or interaction. To do that, we're not going to think about the details of what was said and done, or who was right or who was wrong. This is not a moral examination in any way. The other person could have been 100 and 150% wrong. They could have done something really hurtful or frustrating. But for this exercise to work, we have to focus on wanting to improve our feelings and reactions to that situation. So I want you to be aware of the whole set of thoughts you've created about this situation. I want you to see, just really see them kind of sitting there in your mind. Be aware of them. There'll be a whole set of negativity that you created about this situation. To really bring it in front of you in your mind. And now you rise above that particular set of thoughts and feelings and consciously decide you're going to be at peace with that situation. I want to be at peace with you. I say that to the situation, and I want to be at peace with that person. I really feel from my heart, doesn't matter who is wrong or right, I just want to be at peace with that. I don't want to be troubled by it anymore, and I don't want them to be troubled by it anymore. I want to be at peace with them. You feel that intention in your heart. Might not have arrived fully yet, but just that intention is good enough right now. Now ask yourself, what level of kindness do you want from the people in your life? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much kindness do you want from the people in your life? Do you want 1 or do you want 10? Maximum kindness do you want from the people in your life? I certainly want that. Most of us want that. What would it be? What would it feel like to receive that level of kindness from everyone in your life? What do you think it would feel like? What would it do for your well-being? How relaxed and at ease would it make you if you just felt maximum level of kindness from the people in your life? Feels good, doesn't it? Now, I want you to send that level of kindness to the person there's been some turbulence with. And don't force yourself to do this. Just allow your heart to open and know the level of kindness that you want to feel from everyone, even if you've done something awful or wrong. You still want to feel that kindness and love from others. And see if you can open your heart towards that person there's been some turbulence with, and gently send them that level of love and kindness. Maximum level. I want it, everyone wants it. Why not just open your heart and send it to them? Really feel your heart sending that love and kindness to them. You really wish them to receive that from them. You wish that. You wish them to feel it in your heart, just like you want to feel that within your heart. You really wish that for them. You open your heart up and you send it to them like a beautiful bird being sent, and then receive it in their heart. And the next few moments of silence, keep on doing that until you feel satisfied that you've put something right with them, that on a silent inner level, they really have received your kindness. You've been open-hearted about sending it, and you just really feel that with that open-heartedness, you sent it, you surrounded them with it, and they've received it. And do that until you feel satisfied that something's been put right with them. Maybe we might have a little bit of resistance to doing this. Maybe we think that if we send love and good wishes to someone when they've done something horrible, that will encourage them to be horrible. But actually, it's the opposite. When we send love and good wishes to someone, we help them come home to the best in themselves, to their higher self. Love always does that. Pure, clean, spiritual love sent with good intentions. It always does that for someone. It doesn't encourage anyone to be rewarded for horrible behavior. It helps people to come home to their higher self. So in doing this, we're actually restoring our own well-being, but we're also helping to restore someone else's conscience, good feelings, and for them to come home to their best self. So if we had any niggles that maybe I don't want to do this and encourage someone to do horrible things to me or others, set that aside. And really, with a big open heart, send that person there's been some turbulence with maximum good intentions, kindness, good feelings. You want them to feel totally at ease. You want them to feel that love and kindness. They don't need to know where it came from. They just need to feel it surrounding them. And each time you practice this, you start to realize you have this extraordinary superpower to put things right on a silent level. No matter who was wrong or right, you're helping both of you come home to your higher self and then putting that turbulence between you right. So it's a fascinating experiment to do this with people that you feel there's been a bit of turbulence with. Maybe you feel it's not appropriate to ring them up or send them a text, or maybe you don't even know their name. You're going to do this on a silent inner level, and maybe if you do want to apologize, it will come out with much deeper and kinder intention. But then if you feel it's just not appropriate to speak to them, it would cause more awkwardness. You can put that turbulence right, because the turbulence gets put right inside you. And anything flowing between you, because thoughts and feelings do flow between people that we think of and we interact with. And we want to put that completely right, so that next time we meet, that turbulence is not there, and it doesn't muddy the water, and it doesn't make things worse with them. So this is about putting things right for us, but also helping put things right for another person and helping them come home to themselves. Now we're going to try and expand this inner feeling of compassion for others and widen it out to people that maybe we interact with daily. Just people we happen to interact with. Doesn't have to be any turbulence between you and anyone else, but we might be interacting with people daily. We might be in this lockdown with people that we're with 24/7, or we might be interacting through phone or emails or whatever, but people we interact with fairly frequently. Think of the level of kind feelings you'd like to receive from them. Really feel that level of kind feelings that you want to receive from them. Now send that same send that same level of compassion and love that you want to receive. Send that same level in an open-hearted way to them, not expecting anything in return, just for the sake of it, wishing their heart to be relaxed and at ease and happy. Just wish that for them. See if you can do that with everyone you interact with at a fairly frequent level. And send out the same level of love and kindness that you would like from them. You send it to all of them. Now let's expand this even further to people in your community. These might be people that live around you. You may have met some of them. You might not know them, but they're all around you in your community. Again, think of the level of love and kindness you'd like to feel from your community as you live in this place. Now send that level of love and kindness out to your entire community. You might not meet those people, you might never see them, but you know they're there. Send that out to your entire community. Really wish for them all to feel at ease, to feel relaxed, and to feel free and happy inside. I wish for all their anxieties to go and be free and at ease. You really wish that for all of them. You really feel like you've covered the entire area of your community, however wide you want to make that. Now we're going to widen it out even further to people who see things really differently to you, maybe because of different views or opinions or way of living your life. And usually, if there's people that are very different to us, there's maybe some criticism permanently there in our mind. So let's let go of all of that. Free ourselves from all of that and wish all of them to be relaxed and happy, to feel peaceful, for them to feel love circulating and compassion circulating in their heart. And for them to be free of turbulence and pain and anxiety. People that you never seem to have good thoughts for because maybe they're so different to you, like different politics or opinions or viewpoints. That wish for them to be at ease and happy and relaxed. The more we do this for others, the more love and respect we have for ourselves. And it's a kind of love and respect that is not ego or arrogance, because it's using the qualities of our higher self. And the more we do this, the more we know the capacity of our heart for generosity and forgiveness and love and a spirit of goodwill. And that spirit of goodwill and good wishes, it will grow and grow and grow stronger the more that we use it. And the more we do these meditations, not just informal moments of meditation when we sit and listen or recall these thoughts, but even just recalling parts of these things, these different ways of thinking of people and sending thoughts to people. Each time we do that, and we rise above our old thought patterns into these new thought patterns, we're literally changing our mind. We're changing it away from harshness and dislike. And that harshness and dislike will have established itself for ourselves. If we do any of this harshness and dislike for others, we feel that level of harshness and dislike for us. So the more we create these new patterns of thinking and feeling, the more we appreciate ourselves, the more respect ourselves. And the more we practice this, the more it becomes a really dependable form of well-being inside, because we know that whenever we're feeling gloomy or down or upset, we can return to this feeling of the higher self and practice these very, very specific meditations to address those thoughts and feelings. And we can self-generate well-being at will, and know that we can respond differently to events. So this is the last meditation in the Value Yourself series, and we've gone through 4 this week. Last week we went through 3. So there's a few extra if you've joined for both these seminars. There's a few extra up there that we wouldn't have been through. So I really encourage you to download the app, the Meditation Lounge app. You can get it free from Google Play or the App Store. And then you click on the armchair meditation section and you go through, there's a series called Value Yourself, and go through the 9 meditations. And when you've been through them all, you might find there's 1 or 2 that you think, they're the things that I need to address the most because they're taking my happiness away. And if I can be free of those things, you'll start to feel your well-being restored, and you'll find that you can more easily slip back into that feeling of your higher self when you can be at peace with everything and everyone. So just a reminder that if you want to have a look at any more of the content from other speakers, and there's some fantastic speakers, if you look at the Brahma Kumaris UK YouTube channel, and there's plenty more material up there for you to practice and get inspired by. And then once again, reminder, these meditations can be found on the Meditation Lounge app. And at the end here, information on both of those things will flick up. And if you've got any questions, anything you feel wasn't covered or you want to ask, then send an email to gch@uk.brahmakumaris.org. It's a bit of a mouthful, so that you can see it there on screen. And just mark it for Value Yourself, and it'll get winged over to me and I'll reply. So thank you very, very much for these 2 afternoons. I've enjoyed it because I've been going through these meditations with you, and that's been really beautiful for me. Okay, so bye for now, and hope to connect again soon.